How to sharpen your vision naturally at home. Your eyes are running right now. From the moment you opened them this morning, they have been processing millions of bits of visual information every single second. And just like any machine running at full speed, they produce heat, they produce waste, and without the right care, they start to break down. Most people wait until their vision gets bad enough to need glasses before they do anything about it, but by that point, years of damage have already been done. What we are going to talk about today is how to slow that damage down, and in many cases actually reverse some of it naturally, at home, without any expensive equipment. The first thing you need to understand is what is actually happening inside your eye. Every time light hits the back of your retina, a chemical reaction fires off to send that signal to your brain. That reaction happens thousands of times per second, and like any chemical reaction, it leaves behind byproducts. Scientists call this oxidative stress. Think of it like exhaust fumes building up inside an engine. When you were young, your body has a very efficient cleanup system that clears this waste almost instantly. But as you get older, and this starts earlier than most people think, sometimes in your late 20s, that cleanup system slows down. The waste starts to accumulate, and that accumulation is one of the primary reasons your vision starts to blur, why you struggle in low light, and why your eyes feel heavy and tired by the end of the day. So the very first step to protecting your vision is not an exercise. It is not a device. It is what you put in your body. Deep inside your eye, at the very center of your retina, is a small but incredibly important area called the macula. This is the part of your eye responsible for sharp, detailed vision, reading fine print, recognizing faces, seeing clearly in front of you. The macula contains a yellow pigment that works exactly like a pair of built-in blue light filtering glasses. It absorbs high-energy light before it can damage your photoreceptors. The thicker and denser this pigment is, the better your vision holds up over time. Here is the critical part. Your body cannot produce this pigment on its own. You have to supply it through what you eat. The two compounds that build this pigment are called lutein and zeaxanthin. You find them in dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, collard greens. These are not exotic superfoods, they're regular groceries. But here's the mistake that almost everyone makes. They eat these greens in a raw salad with no dressing, or they throw them into a smoothie with water and call it healthy, and then they wonder why they're not seeing any improvement. The reason is that lutein and zeaxanthin are fat-soluble nutrients. That means your digestive system can only absorb them when fat is present. Without fat, they pass straight through your body, and your eyes receive nothing. The fix is simple. When you eat spinach or kale, add olive oil, add avocado. Even a small amount of butter will work. This one change alone can make a significant difference in how well your eyes hold up over the coming years. Now, alongside those greens, your retina also needs a constant supply of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically a type called DHA. Of all the tissues in your entire body, your retina has the highest concentration of DHA. It is essentially the oil that keeps your visual engine running smoothly. When your DHA levels are low, your retina dries out at a cellular level. Contrast suffers, colors look washed out, black text stops looking truly black. To get enough DHA, you should be eating fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines at least twice a week. If you genuinely cannot stand fish, a high-quality algae-based omega-3 supplement is an excellent alternative and is actually the same source that fish get their DHA from in the first place. Now, while you're working on what goes into your body, you also need to pay attention to what you are doing to your eyes every single day without realizing it. Here's something most people have never considered. A healthy human being approximately blinks 18 times per minute. That blinking is not just a reflex, it's your eye's windshield wiper system. Every complete blink spreads a fresh layer of tears across the surface of your eye, clears away debris, and keeps your cornea hydrated and clear. But research has consistently shown that when people stare at a digital screen, their blink rate drops to somewhere between 4 and 6 times per minute. We literally forget to blink. And it gets worse than that. Even the blinks that do happen while looking at a screen tend to be incomplete. The eyelid does not travel all the way down. Half of the eye never gets covered. Your tear film is actually made up of 3 distinct layers. There is a mucus layer that anchors it to the surface of your eye. There is a water layer that provides hydration. And there is a thin oil layer on top that prevents the water from evaporating. When you do not blink fully, that oil layer never gets properly distributed. The water evaporates within seconds, and you're left with dry patches, scratchy irritation, and blurred vision. The solution here is not to consciously try to blink more. That is nearly impossible to maintain. The real fix is to change your environment so your eyes do not have to work as hard in the first place. The biggest source of eye strain at a desk is contrast, specifically when your screen is very bright and your surrounding room is dark. Your eyes are essentially being forced to constantly adapt between 2 very different levels of brightness. It is exhausting at a neurological level. What you want to do is match the brightness of your screen to the brightness of your room. If your room is dim, dim your screen. If your room is bright, your screen should be equally bright. Beyond that, if you have harsh fluorescent overhead lighting in your workspace, consider turning it off and replacing it with a soft, warm desk lamp, positioned so that the light bounces off the wall behind your monitor. This creates what designers call bias lighting, a gentle ambient glow that balances the room and naturally reduces the visual strain that triggers the low blink rate. Once your nutrition is in order and your environment is improved, you're ready to actually train your eyes. Inside your eye, there is a small muscle called the ciliary muscle. Its only function is to change the shape of your lens, squeezing it to bring close objects into focus, and relaxing to flatten it for distance vision. Think of this muscle like a rubber band. When you are young, it is supple and responsive. You can shift your focus from your phone screen to a mountain in the distance, and it snaps instantly. But with age, and especially with the modern habit of spending 8 to 10 hours a day staring at screens, this muscle gets stuck. It locks into a near focus position, constantly contracted, constantly under tension. The technical name for age-related focusing difficulty is presbyopia, but a lot of what people experience as blurry distance vision is actually just a muscle that has been held in one position for too long. Think about holding a bicep curl for 10 hours straight. Your arm would cramp. That's exactly what is happening inside your eye. To release this tension and retrain the muscle, the most effective exercise is called the near-far shift. Sit comfortably and hold your thumb out about 10 inches from your face. Focus on your thumbprint. Really engage with it. Try to see the ridges and the lines of your skin. Hold that focus for 5 full seconds. Then immediately shift your gaze to something at least 20 feet away, a clock on the wall, something outside a window, anything in the distance. Don't just look at it vaguely, actually focus. Try to see specific details. You may feel a slight delay or a small pulse sensation as your eyes readjust. That's the ciliary muscle releasing its contraction. Go back and forth, thumb, then distance, thumb, then distance, 10 times in a row. The whole thing takes less than a minute, but if you do it consistently every day, you'll notice that the transition time between near and far focus gets noticeably shorter. That's measurable, real improvement in your visual flexibility. Now, strength and flexibility are important, but so is recovery, and most people completely skip this part. Your optic nerve is not just a cable connecting your eye to your brain, it's literally an extension of brain tissue. When your eyes are overwhelmed and overstimulated, your entire nervous system feels it. To give your visual system a genuine reset, there's a technique called palming that is remarkably effective. Start by rubbing your palms together vigorously for about 15 to 20 seconds until they feel warm. Then close your eyes and cup your palms over them, making sure the hollow of your palm is covering your eye socket, but your palms are not pressing against your eyelids. The goal is to create a warm, completely dark cave over your eyes. The warmth from your hands increases blood circulation in the surrounding tissue. The total darkness signals your optic nerve to stop processing and rest. Breathe slowly, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and try to visualize the color black. This sounds simple, but it's harder than it sounds. When we close our eyes, we often still see gray static, faint light patterns, or residual images. These are signs that your visual cortex is still firing. Try to let that activity settle. Try to make the field behind your eyes as completely dark as possible. Just 2 minutes of this exercise can reset your tear film, release ciliary muscle tension, and give your optic nerve more genuine rest than many people get in an hour of irregular sleep. Finally, there is one more technique that very few people talk about, but that can make an immediate and noticeable difference in eye strain, especially for anyone who works at a desk or spends long hours on screens. Modern life keeps our visual attention locked in a narrow forward zone. We're constantly focused on small targets, text, icons, faces on a screen. This state of narrow, concentrated focus actually triggers a low-level stress response in your nervous system. Evolutionarily, that kind of tight tunnel vision was associated with hunting or being in danger. It activates alertness. It raises cortisol, and it keeps your ciliary muscle contracted. The counterbalance to this is deliberately activating your peripheral vision. Pick a spot directly in front of you and keep your gaze there. Now, without moving your eyes, start to become aware of everything at the edges of your field of view. Can you notice the ceiling without looking up, the floor without looking down, the walls on either side of you? Don't shift your eyes towards any of these things, just expand your awareness to include them. Imagine your field of view opening up like a wide-angle lens. When you do this successfully, something physical happens. Your shoulders relax, your breathing slows. That's your parasympathetic nervous system switching on, your body's rest and recovery mode. And as that happens, your ciliary muscle releases its tension, your blink rate normalizes, and the mental fog that comes with prolonged screen work begins to clear. 30 seconds of this, anytime you feel overwhelmed at your desk, is one of the fastest resets available to you. So here's everything pulled together into something you can actually use starting today. Add spinach or kale to one meal a day and make sure there's some fat alongside it. Eat fatty fish twice a week or start an omega-3 supplement. Adjust your workspace lighting so your screen and your room are at a similar brightness. Once an hour, do 10 near-far shifts. Whenever your eyes feel genuinely fatigued, give them 2 minutes of palming. And anytime you feel mental tension building at your screen, 30 seconds of peripheral expansion will break the cycle. None of this requires special equipment, none of it costs much in money, and none of it takes more than a few minutes out of your day. But done consistently, these small changes add up to real, lasting protection for your vision. Your eyes aren't broken, they're just asking for the right kind of attention. Give it to them, and they'll give you a lot more clarity in return. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It helps more people find this information. And if you want to keep learning how to take better care of your health naturally, subscribe so you don't miss the next one.